Hi, welcome to Tammy's Beauty Tutorials. So today I'm going to be doing a full face of my beauty routine. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go in with, I already went in with Clarins moisturizer, and I have really dry skin, so I always start out with a good moisturizer. And this is actually a nighttime moisturizer, but since it's already so dry in Kansas, I do this during the day. And then I did an under eye cream. Well, it's actually a gel, and it's the Rodial one. And then I went in with some e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and this is a really good dupe for the Tasha Primer, and I have really enjoyed that, and it looks just pretty identical to that, the Tasha Primer, and it's probably about half the price, and but it's pretty good. I really enjoy that. And then for foundation, I already worked that on my face, and I used the Sigma. I buffed it into my face with the Sigma, the flat kabuki brush F80, and I used the Bareminerals BarePro Aspen 04. Worked that into my skin, and then I like to go over my face with I go get what's left on my skin, and I just kind of work that into my skin just like that. And just kind of pounce that all over just to really get that into my skin. I just really like the finish and the way that looks by doing that. You know, I just think it kind of just really helps set in my makeup, and I like the overall finish of that. Okay, and next I'm going to move right into my eyebrows. First, I like to take a brush with the spoolie and kind of just brush those. And I'm using the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil and number 5. And then just kind of fill in where I need to, especially on this brow. I feel like this one is shaped pretty good. I don't feel like this one needs a lot of work in getting the shape that I want. I feel like this one has the really nice shape and the really nice art. With this one, I feel like this one's not as thick, and I feel like this one's a little lighter. So I feel like this one needs a little more filling in. There's a little more sparse in areas. Especially towards the end. And don't worry about making mistakes because you can always clean up your brows with concealer after you're done. And there you go. And I did make a little mistake right in here, but we're gonna clean that up. So don't worry, not a big deal. We will clean that up. And then, like I said, we're gonna go into concealer now. And then I go into concealer, and I'm using the e.l.f. camo in light sand. And I go a little bit on my nose. And I go right in here. And then I got some eyelashes. And I'll clean that up. And then I put some on my lid. That kind of helps like give a more shape to your brow and also help kind of clean it up and just kind of makes it look more snatched, or as Scott Barnes will say, a little more snatchral. Have you ever J-Lo's makeup artist? And then I always like to kind of put some right here by my nose. And under eyes, because you want to conceal any darkness under eyes and you want to brighten, and that's the whole reason to conceal. And also concealer can also help with any blemishes and dark circles, so anything that you want to cover up or hide, that is why we conceal. And it can also help, and you can, and before you conceal, like if I had primer for my lids, we would do that first and then we would conceal. So that's where you would do that. I am out of eyelid primer, so that I would have done that first before doing that step. And then just kind of work that in and blend all that out. And look how your eyes start looking more wide awake, bright-eyed, more awake. Concealer makes so much difference. Look, all that little mess up, all gone. And I forgot to do some clear gel on my eyebrows. And this one's by Lancome, and this helps like any eyebrow hairs kind of lay down. If you have any wild eyebrows hair, which I do, this helps them like lay down and behave themselves. So definitely recommend. So that way they're not like sticking up I'm being crazy. So now I go into Bareminerals. This is well rested, and this will like set the concealer so it doesn't crease or break apart. So I just kind of tap that into the lid, and I take my beauty sponge and set everything. Just put that on everything. And there you go. That's all set. And so there you go. It won't crease, bunch up, none of that. Everything looks smooth, bright-eyed. Oh, there you go. Now we're going to go into some contouring. And I know I used to be really intimidated by that. For the longest time, I did not know how to do that. I never heard of it. Super intimidated by that. And then I started trying to do that, and it took a little bit of work, I'm not gonna lie. And I started out really small, and I also, to be honest, I started like looking on Pinterest and just practicing. And I think that's what it really takes, just to practice. And I'm not saying I'm this great expert. You just have to practice and not to be scared. And you're gonna mess up. Sometimes it's gonna look weird and you're gonna feel weird doing it at first. Just practice. And I think that's what I love about makeup, is you have such creative expression in it, and you just, it's fun. And there's not, everybody's so different. And so I'm gonna use, this is just, I think it's Real Techniques. And I'm going to use this on my cheeks and down here. And then I'm going to switch brushes for my nose and my lip. And I don't really do my forehead contour, because since I have such a small forehead, there's not like a lot of space between here and here. So I don't really do that. And remember, contour makes things look smaller. So the darker makes things look smaller. So if you have a round face, you can make yourself look more defined and not so round. And longer faces, you can make things look smaller and not so long. So you can really change the look of your face. Like your nose, you can make your face, your nose, if you have a bigger nose, you can make your face look smaller, nose look smaller, thinner, change it up. So you can really change the look of your face, define it. That's why they say you can make your face look like you had a facelift overnight, with a good contour. So when you do your cheek, you have to find where your cheekbone is. You see a vertical kind of thing. So you just kind of try to find where your cheekbone is. And then I always kind of go push back to your hairline. You kind of want to, of course, you want it to be kind of even from side to side. You don't want one side, you You don't want it to look lopsided because that would look weird if one side was higher than the other. And then I always like to do, obviously, under here, because you don't want to look like you have like a double chin, and you want that to look smaller. I want that to look smaller. I mean, who doesn't want that to look smaller underneath? I mean, nobody wants that to look fat underneath. And then your nose. And this is also, I believe, a Real Techniques. I like to use the smaller one. I tried it with the bigger one, the same brush, but then I think it looks too big. And then, sorry. And then a lip contour. I really like contouring my lips. I've always wanted like thicker, fuller lips. And I just think this totally helps make your lips look a little fuller without like getting lip fillers and less painful. You know, I saw this on YouTube. Scott Barnes, J-Lo's. Speaking of J-Lo, again, the makeup artist again. And back to your beauty blender. And just kind of blend that in. You just kind of want to work that in. You don't want to like have harsh lines, but you also don't want to rub that away, you know. When I was little, just to kind of tell stories where I'm rubbing this in, so it's not like just dead silence and you guys being bored. When I was little, I always loved playing in makeup. My mom, she always had this like huge vanity table in our bathroom, and I would always like play in her makeup. And it was always fun to watch her put on her makeup. I don't know if she ever got mad at me for getting into her makeup. Maybe she did, but I mean, I would like to think though, so that she liked it. I mean, she'd always give me her makeup she didn't want anymore. So maybe she did love it. She never yelled at me though. But I always think that whenever I get a bigger house, I want like a huge vanity table like she had. Because I just think that would be so fun to have like a huge makeup table. I mean, it would be filled in no time with all the makeup that I already have. I don't know how much Corey would love that. Because I already have a ton. I mean, I'm sure he thinks way too much. Okay, so then I always like to kind of like look back and see how that looks. And make sure that's all worked in really nice. Okay. Alright, and so now I'm going to move to my blush. I'm going to go to the Smashbox, the Cali Contour Palette. And this is the blush in the palette. It's this one right here. And I'm going to use this. And this is like an e.l.f. blush brush. Now blush is just to kind of add color to your cheeks. To bring color. Some rosy to the apples of your cheeks. And then I'm going to go into bronzer. And bronzer is different than contour. I know it's kind of like in similar areas, but not to be confused. So contour is to define. Bronzer is to bring warmth to the face. So, and you can use the same thing, but a lot of times like bronzers are more like can be shimmery, and contours are more flat and matte. Yes, you can use, like I said, you can use the same things, but bronzers are typically to add warmth. And I do bronze my forehead. Like I said, I do not contour my forehead, but I do, you know. But if you do have a bigger forehead, I would contour your forehead. They do on Pinterest, they do have really good guides for contouring, bronzing, and all that. So I would suggest looking all that up. For if you are not for sure how to contour and what works for your face shape. And if you are not knowing what your face shape is and you need to kind of would like to know, go to your hairstylist. Hairstylists, a lot of times that they know what your face shape is and what works for your face shape. Ask your hairstylist, because we're supposed to know that, because we study that and are supposed to know that and are supposed to work with that a lot with haircuts. So ask your hairstylist. And so that should help you out a lot on with haircuts, with how to contour. So when in doubt, ask your hairstylist. And if I am your hairstylist, I can help you. And so, see how that added warmth to my face. And then I bring some down here too, to my neck. And kind of blend it. All right. Now, time for a highlight. I'm going to go to the Smashbox. And this is the shimmer highlight. It's right in the middle, right here. On the nose. Cupid's bow. And the highlight is the high points of your face. Just so if dark makes things look smaller, and then a highlight makes things look bigger. And you want like highlight, you want like an inner glow, a light within, beam light, a glow within, an inner light. See that? The glow. Alright, there is the highlight. Alright, I am going to go into the next. I'm going to set my face. Okay. And then I saw this really neat little hot tip. I love this YouTuber. I think she's fantastic. Jaclyn Hill. I don't know if I've said that before, but she's my favorite. With Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Oil. It's for dry skin. I don't think I would do this if you had oily skin. I would stay away from this trick. So don't do it. So you take a damp beauty sponge, you take this oil and you just kind of a couple of drops, and then on the areas where you are drier and start out small, do not overdo it, and you just kind of tap that end to where you're really dry. The areas that you have the most dryness. And see how that just brings like a healthy glow, and just really, and it does not ruin your makeup or anything, but it just helps where it doesn't. You can see it doesn't show your dry patches, but it also doesn't ruin your makeup, because usually that's where, especially like right in here, my makeup comes apart really bad, and that's where my dryness really kind of comes apart and gets really kind of splotchy. And also right here is where my problems areas are the most, is where I have the most dryness, is in these areas right here. And so this trick has really saved me this winter, well, the beginning of this winter, because it's already super cold here in Kansas, she made a video like teaching this trick, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try it. And like right away when I tried it, it was like, oh my gosh, game changer. So I tried it and I have been loving it. And I've even got like compliments on my skin, and everybody's like, oh, it's so glowy. So now I'm sharing it with you guys. So dry skin, go out, get you a bottle and try it. Be careful, don't overdo it, because it's really easy to do. Start out small and you can always add some oil, but you can't take it away. I'm going to do my eyes off camera, and then I'll come back and show you the finished look. I'll be right back to show you the finished look. All right, hold on, I'll be right back. Hey, and we're back. I just finished up my eyes, put on some lipstick. The lipstick I used was Maybelline Matte Brown Blush, and so this is my finished look. I'm gonna put on some Smashbox Photo Finish setting spray.
Yeah.
And this is complete. I hope you enjoyed this, my full face with me, getting ready with me, kind of step by step. Stay tuned for the next video. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Meow.